Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Friday. Friday's the day of the week we turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map. They've gone with this one. Originally off my long list, a map that we didn't have time to review a particular week, so I put it on the list of things to do later. Finally got around to it. Now, this guy is one of my favourite creators, not specifically because they are one of the most exciting map makers out there, but because of their passion for the game. They love building things in the game and they love sharing these things with the community, and it actually carries across. The love carries across so much. We have done them 7 times in the past, peaking in episode 613 when you got 12 stars and the seal of approval. More about their history in a few moments, but first of all, this little task. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Comarca Lagunera by a CHECO. Yes, CHECO is back, or they were back some time ago, and this finally made the top of the pile. Let's have a little look at that start square. Yeah, there is something very notably missing from the start square, which is going to make it difficult for a vanilla let's play, but we'll talk about that shortly. You have terrain heights that are based on a real life location, that being in Switzerland. Resources are, we've got oil. Oil is for snow, so yes, it's basically a fertile map. You're going to be doing farming. If you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, those are your 2 varieties in the lake, because we have a lake. And then off to the workshop. Now, today we've got no DLC required. We're using the Alps Dolomites theme, and we have the realistic 1.2 LUT. If you read through the description, it'll tell you that the real life location is Lake Lucerne, or the Lake of the Four Cantons, apparently. Never heard of it called that before. I've learnt something today. Thank you very much, CHECO. And it's based on that area. The highway follows the edge of the lake and makes all of the sense. Now, I did promise we'd talk more about their history very briefly. We'll skim over the previous episodes. For those of you that like to catch up with maybe a creator that you've not seen before, we've done this creator in episodes 518, 588, 613, 622, 736, 751, and most recently in 1146. And if you are tracking these things, they got 11, then 9, then 12 with the seal of approval, then 9, then 10, then 10, and last time out, just the 6 stars, which included 1 star for gameplay, which, without checking, probably means there was a missing mod or something. So oops, these things happen. These things happen even to the best. Even, not often to the best, but they does happen. Okay, start square intersection. Let's talk about the map. This is a very slick, sleek looking intersection. There's a lot to like about it. I'm liking the way that it actually comes in over a river and it just looks fairly natural, intuitive. Have a little look at this ramp. It's elevated kind of at ground level, but it's not causing a problem. But it's worth mentioning because sometimes these things do cause a problem when you elevate a highway ramp at ground level. If you come over this way, we have got some elevated sections with missing pillars because there are highways where there would normally be pillars. So it's quite a long stretch without a pillar along there. It'd be nice to have done a little bit of creative work with the highway to allow those pillars to appear. And we've got the same over here. It's not quite such a long stretch, but certainly a couple of relocating of the pillars would just make it a little bit more believable that physics is actually in operation. Real life physics, that is. Okay, heading down into what would be the start square. Nice, interesting area to build. Yes, we don't have any fresh water in this area. We'll obviously cover that later. But certainly an interesting build start. Here, though, I'd rather those trees weren't directly in front of the highway. Yes, it costs nothing to bulldoze them or even build straight over the top of them. But I feel it's more enticing to build into an area if you're not met by any kind of visual barrier. So to remove those trees just kind of says, and here's your space to build into. And what we have there is the first thing you're going to have to do is kill these trees, you butcherer. And Maybe I take these things too seriously. I don't know. But yes, the whole enticing, yeah, where we have there, we're sort of like starting to build into a valley, and starting to build into a valley. It opens up in front of you, before you, and it's quite a nice place to like have a start square. Just at the opening, and you sort of like you see the possibilities before you start butchering with a really ugly city, which I know a lot of us are very good at doing. Tree gone for a paddle. Doesn't need its trunks on, obviously, but a tree has gone for a paddle there. And yeah, I like the thoughts. The Virgin map is a great thing. Is a great thing, because it just has such a world of possibilities. And just the vision of having like a whole open valley just ready to go, and then those trees just like block that vision just a little bit. I mean, I'm not stupid. Some would disagree, but I'm not stupid. I do know that they are completely irrelevant. You remove them with the Move It, the bulldozer, build directly over them without anarchy switched on, and they'll just disappear. I get that. I do get that. It's but yeah, in terms of the aesthetic design, having trees right at that point kind of blocks the way a little bit, and I just wish they hadn't been there. I could easily remove them. I'm not going to. I'm not going back. I am not going back. Okay. Anyway, highways. We have this one highway. There are a couple of potential start locations. That one was the start square. There'll be another one coming up in a few moments' time, which gives us a chance to have a look at some more highway ramps and another intersection with elevated sections. And for your bingo, siren going past my window. Thank you very much. It's all happening today. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but I promise you there was a siren going past my window. Right, okay, we have the next intersection. Again, very neatly done, very smoothly done intersection. No sharp ramps. Some very nice... yeah, it's all good, but it's all elevated. Now, have a look here, elevated at ground level. See the way it's causing an indent into the terrain. This could easily have been done at ground level, or maybe it's been done at elevated level, at ground level for aesthetic purposes, but it's causing that indent. Here though, pillar, no 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 pillar, pillar. That's a long stretch without a pillar, and again, it's only because they are underneath where the highways would be placed, so that would be very easy to put right. And again, over this side, we've got something very similar, the pillar there, and then a big gap, not quite such a large gap, going across to the other side. So yeah, my grumbles have been highway ramps elevated at ground level, pillars underneath where highways would be so they disappear, which sometimes you want to do that, but not often, not like that anyway. And a start square which doesn't have water in it and has some trees kind of blocking the entrance, so you've got that visual barricade. That's really all I'm complaining about. These things are not disasters, but they are things to talk about. Anyway, we're heading off towards the edge of the map. We don't actually have any rail on today's map, so I think what we'll do is we'll go straight to intermission. When we come back, we'll do the usual. We'll check for the shipping. There might not be any shipping because it's a lake, but we will soon find out. And then, of course, the water flow, and have a look over some of the interesting aspects of today's terrain.
Do your cul-de-sacs look like this? Do you want them to look like this? Then you need the beginner's guide to the perfect cul-de-sacs by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
And so back to the map. Comarca, sorry, I got distracted. I try not to be distracted. Comarca Lagunera by CHECO. And the shipping routes, well, there are no shipping routes, which I guess is realistic. So to the location, we can allow that. We do have an air route that goes from corner to corner. So if you want to stick an airport down, you're probably going to be quite happy. What about water flow? Well, as you see here, we do have good water flow. This is the water nearest to the start square. However, as we have already covered, if you're playing a vanilla style game, and you don't have all the unlocked water treatment areas, which I think came with Sunset Harbour. I might be wrong there. You have no water over here at all. So if you haven't got those assets, just don't play this map if you haven't. And I need to tell you that. Okay, let's have a look around the map based on the real life location. I really like the shape of the map. The lake is very large and does take up a huge playable spot in the middle of the map, but around the outside, especially if you have the 81 tile mod, you've got a lot of interesting shapes around here to build into. The forests don't fill me with absolute wonder. There's nothing wrong with them, but there's no real design or flair to the forests. But they certainly break up the environment in a moderately pleasing way, so I think there's credit there. Then we head up into the mountains. We have the snow-capped mountains from the oil on the Mr. Miyagi's theme, and again, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I would say that this kind of ticks all the boxes for somebody who's trying to do a snow map without having Snowfall DLC, which I think a lot of people would prefer to have a look at this map than the maps that are permanently white, the permafrost maps, I guess some people would want to call them. Then over here, we've got some interesting terrain glitches running across the map. Like, have a little look. The first hint is this scar in the environment here. It's very straight. It's very straight. It doesn't really appear too straight from down below, but you can see how it just like swipes across the environment there. And you can match that up with that scar there. And then we've got that scar there, and another one right there. Also, the tree's completely aligned to it. Now, I know the entire map is built on a grid, but you have to watch out for these little things with the terrain when you actually set up. You can't really make these out from ground level. I mean, we've even got one down here. The one down here on the cliff edge is probably the most notable. It's what caused me to spot it in the first place. But when you're actually down at ground level, this is not really something that jumps out at you because we have 3 dimensions. Like down here, you don't really notice it, but certainly is just something to look out for when you're map making if you want to try and avoid the map looking digitized, and that's what's caused there anyway. Back to the start square, and we have an asset of the day from someone we've not done before. A brand new creator to me, and this is Yang Mi. I apologise if I've got your pronunciation wrong there, but I do believe Yang Mi is the closest that an English tongue is going to manage here. It's the middle school teaching building. And it's a great looking building. Now, I like covering all creators. Now, here we do have a little bit of glitching on the side of the building at the top. Now, I've never made an asset, and I'm not going to say that I can't criticize somebody for a little bit of glitching on the building because I've never made an asset. I wouldn't know where to start, and this guy's clearly got way more skills than I have. But just a little something. If that bothers you, I'd steer clear. But I don't think it should bother you. It should be fine. It'll be fine. Factoids because factoids. Dorothy Pentreath maybe, is said to be the last person to speak ancient Cornish as a mother tongue. She died in 1777. Ancient Cornish. I thought they still spoke. Well, I guess a different sort of Cornish. Anyway, middle school teaching building by Yang Mi. Today's asset of the day. Yes, Cornish. I know they still speak a variant of Cornish down there. I always assumed that was the original. But no, clearly not. Maybe I've learnt 2 things today. Or maybe the book was wrong again. It has been known occasionally to be wrong. Okay, we are there, and we're at that point of the map that I turn to you and I say, hey, buddies, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now in the top right corner of your screen, or in the description there is a link there as well, where you can vote for free. But what do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, actually I don't mind this too much. I was very, very close to going to the 4th star, but I think the I think it just doesn't quite have the panache of a 4-star map. So I'm going to go for a high 3. I think it's very pleasing, certainly looks like the area, and as a non-snowfall snow map goes, it's quite solid. So I'm quite happy with it. So a high 3. Detailing. I would go down the middle on the 3 stars. There's nothing really too bad with it, but all those missing pillars, I think I've got to penalise it a little bit. Not enough to drop it to 2 stars, because that would be mean, but I've got to go for a low 3 for detail. Gameplay potential, I would like to see some water in the start square. This does feel like a regular 9-tile style build map, and therefore water in the start square is important to me, so I'm going to go for a high 2. Comarca Lagunera by CHECO. That is good to see. Good to see. Always, I'm a proper loving lover of CHECO, and what we're seeing there is just CHECO through and through, building a map that they love, and they've shared it for a competition, but yeah, they've shared it, and they just love it, and I love what they bring to the game. I also love what you bring to the game by entering the word of the day into the comments. Score yourself some population points just for fun to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite, and I'll be back tomorrow with the Saturday map. See you then.